On about January 31, 1913, a mathematician named G.H. Hardy in Cambridge, England, received a package of papers with a cover letter that began, Dear Sir, I beg to introduce myself to you as a clerk in the accounts department of the Port Trust office at Madras on a salary of only £20 per annum. I am now about 23 years of age, and went on to say that its author had made startling progress on a theory of divergent series in mathematics and had all but solved the long standing problem of the distribution of prime numbers. The cover letter ended, Being poor, if you are convinced that there is anything of value, I would like to have my theorems published. Being inexperienced, I would very highly value any advice you give me. Requesting to be excused for the trouble I give you. I remain, Dear Sir, yours truly, S. Ramanujan. What followed were at least 11 pages of technical results from a range of areas of mathematics. There are a few things that on first sight might seem absurd, like that the sum of all positive integers can be thought of as being equal to minus 1 by 12. Then there are statements that suggest a kind of experimental approach to mathematics. But some things get more exotic with pages of formula like this. What are these? Where do they come from? Are they even correct?
The concepts are familiar from college level calculus, but these are not just complicated college level calculus exercises. Instead, when one looks closely, each one has something more exotic and surprising going on, and seems to involve a quite different level of mathematics. Needless to say, there is a human story behind this, the remarkable story of Srinivasa Ramanujan. He was born in a smallest town in India on December 22, 1887, which made him not about 23 but actually 25 when he wrote his letter to Hardy. His family was of the Brahmin caste but of modest means. The British colonial rulers of India had put in place a very structured system of schools, and by the age of 10, Ramanujan stood out by scoring top in his district in the standard exams. He also was known as having an exceptional memory and being able to recite digits of numbers like pi as well as things like roots of Sanskrit words. When he graduated from high school at the age of 17, he was recognized for his mathematical prowess and given a scholarship for college. While in high school, Ramanujan had started studying mathematics on his own and doing his own research, notably on the numerical evaluation of Euler's constant and on the properties of the Bernoulli numbers. He was fortunate at the age of 16 to get a copy of a remarkably good and comprehensive 1055-page summary of high-end undergraduate mathematics organized in the form of results, numbered up to 6165. The book was written by a tutor for the ultra-competitive mathematical tripos exams in Cambridge, and its terse, just the facts format was very similar to the one Ramanujan used in his letter to Hardy.
By the time Ramanujan got to college, all he wanted to do was mathematics, and he failed his other classes, and at one point ran away, causing his mother to send a missing person letter to the newspaper. Ramanujan moved to Madras, tried different colleges, had medical problems, and continued his independent math research. In 1909, when he was 21, his mother arranged for him to marry a 10-year-old girl named Janaki, who started living with him a couple of years later. Ramanujan seems to have supported himself by doing math tutoring, but soon became known around Madras as a math whiz and began publishing in the recently launched Journal of the Indian Mathematical Society. His first paper, published in 1911, was on computational properties of Bernoulli numbers, the same Bernoulli numbers that Ada Lovelace had used in her 1843 paper on the analytical engine. Though his results weren't spectacular, Ramanujan's approach was an interesting and original one that combined continuous and discrete mathematics.
When Ramanujan's mathematical friends did not succeed in getting him a scholarship, Ramanujan started looking for jobs and wound up in March 1912 as an accounting clerk, or effectively a human calculator, for the Port of Madras. His boss, the chief accountant, happened to be interested in academic mathematics and became a lifelong supporter of his. The head of the Port of Madras was a rather distinguished British civil engineer, and partly through him, Ramanujan started interacting with a network of technically oriented British expatriates. They struggled to assess him, wondering whether he has the stuff of great mathematician or whether his brains are akin to those of the calculating bug. They wrote to a certain professor, M.J. Hill in London, who looked at Ramanujan's rather outlandish statements about divergent series and declared that Mr. Ramanujan is evidently a man with a taste for mathematics and with some ability, but he has got on to wrong lines. Hill suggested some books for Ramanujan to study. Meanwhile, Ramanujan's friends were continuing to look for support for him, and he decided to start writing to British mathematician himself, though with some significant help at composing the English in his letter. We don't know exactly who all he wrote to first, although Hardy's longtime collaborator John Littlewood mentioned two names shortly before he died 64 years later, S.F. Baker and E.W. Hobson. Neither were particularly good choices. Baker worked on algebraic geometry and Hobson on mathematical analysis, both subjects fairly far from what Ramanujan was doing. But in any event, neither of them responded, and so it was on Thursday, January 16, 1930, Ramanujan sent his letter to G.H. Hardy.
By 1904, Ramanujan had begun to undertake deep research. He investigated the series summation of 1 by n and calculated Euler's constant to 15 decimal places. He began the study of Bernoulli numbers, although this was entirely his own independent discovery. He combined a power of generalization, a feeling for form, and a capacity for rapid modification of his hypotheses that were often really startling and made him, in his own peculiar field, without a rival in his day. The limitation of his knowledge were as startling as his profundity. Here was a man who could work out modular equations and theorems to orders unheard of, whose mastery of continued fraction was beyond that of any mathematician in the world, who had found for himself the functional equation of the zeta function and the dominant terms of many of the most problems in the analytical theory of numbers, and yet he had never heard of a doubly periodic function or of Cauchy's theorem, and had indeed but the vaguest idea of what a functional of a complex variable was. The Indian government declared 22nd December to be the National Mathematics Day. This was announced by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on 26 February 2012 at Madras University due to inaugural ceremony of the celebrations to mark the 125th anniversary of the birth of the Indian mathematical genius Srinivasa Ramanujan, 22nd December 1887 to 26th April 1920. On this occasion, Singh also announced that 2012 would be celebrated as the National Mathematics Year. Since then, Indian National Mathematics Day is celebrated every 22nd December, with numerous educational events held at schools and universities throughout the country. In 2017, the day's significance was enhanced by the opening of Ramanujan Math Park in Kupam in Chittor, Andhra Pradesh. Ramanujan who knew infinity.
Now here is a PPT about Srinivasa Ramanujan by
An
Sanjana
equation
Mahato.
means nothing to me unless it expresses a thought of God. Well said by Srinivasa Ramanujan. Srinivasa Ramanujan is remembered for his exceptional contribution in the field of mathematics. Due to his great achievements in the field of mathematics, his birthday is celebrated as State IT Day in his home state of Tamil Nadu, and whole India celebrate National Mathematics Day. Srinivasa Ramanujan Iyengar, one of the India's greatest mathematical geniuses, was born on 22nd December 1887 in a poor Brahmin family at Erode in Thanjore district of Madras state, Tamil Nadu. His father Srinivasan Iyengar was an accountant of a cloth merchant at Kumbakonam, while his mother Komalamal, who was daughter of a petty official in the district of Munsif Court, was an housewife who sang at local temple. On 1st October 1892, Ramanujan was enrolled at the local school, but he did not like school in Madras and tried to avoid attending. His family enlisted a local constable to make sure he attended school. Within 6 months, Ramanujan was back in Kumbakonam. In 1897, he passed his primary examinations in English, Tamil, Geography and Arithmetic with the best scores in the whole district. He was so bright that he was declared child mathematician at the age of 12 by his teachers. He discovered his own methods of solving equations. Up to class 4, he almost solved all the problems of the Lowndes trigonometry meant for the degree classes. In 1909, Ramanujan married to Janaki Ammal, who was 10 years old. It was not unusual then for marriages to be arranged with girls at younger age. Then it became necessary for Ramanujan to find a job. Then he accepted his appointment for the post of a clerk in the office of Madras Port Trust. Ramanujan enrolled at Panchayappa's College in August 1905. Then he passed in mathematics, choosing only to attempt questions that appealed to him and performing poorly in other subjects. He then left college without a degree and continued to pursue independent research in mathematics. These were the days when he lived in extreme poverty, often on the brink of starvation. Since we all know, every cloud has a silver lining, every bad situation has some good aspect to it. In 1911, Ramanujan published the first office papers in the Journal of the Indian Mathematical Society. His researches slowly gained recognition, and in 1913 he began a correspondence with the British mathematician Godfrey H. Hardy. In 1912 and 1913, he sent samples of his theorems to 3 academics at the University of Cambridge. J. H. Hardy, recognizing the brilliance of his work, invited Ramanujan to visit and work with him at Cambridge. He became a Fellow of the Royal Society and a Fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge, where he was awarded with the degree of B. Science, later named PhD, of his work on highly composite number. In the spring of 1917, Ramanujan first appears to unwell. He went to nursing home at Cambridge in the early summer and was never out of bed for any length of time again. For a brief period, he resumed some active work, but due to tuberculosis, he left for India and died in Chetpet, Madras. Srinivasa Ramanujan, acclaimed as the greatest mathematician of the 20th century, breathed his last on April 26, 1920, when he was 32. With almost no formal education, Ramanujan is one of the greatest mathematicians of the 20th century. Despite starting out as a relatively unknown Indian clerk, he burst into the world of mathematics like a thunderstorm, changing the future of mathematics and securing his place in history before dying. Even though Ramanujan's life was short, his contribution to the mathematics was extensive. Ramanujan's summation states that if we add all the natural numbers all the way to infinity, we will get that it is equal to minus 1 by 12. Now let's take a series which is equal to 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1. Then when we subtract it from 1, we will get the result as 1 minus a equals to a. Then a equals to 1 by 2. Then we take a series b equals to 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 plus 5 minus 6. And when we further subtract it from a, we get as a final result as a minus b equals to b. Then a equals to 2b and b equals to 1 by 4. Now taking a series c equals to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 6 plus 7 and goes on to infinity, and subtract this c from b, we will get by further calculation as b minus c equal to minus 4c. Then b equals to minus 3c, hence c equals to minus 1 by 12. And so there you have it, the Ramanujan summation. Just imagine, he was so keen in his proofs and making impossible as possible. Goldbach's conjecture is one of the important illustrations of Ramanujan's contribution, and it states that every even integer is a sum of two primes, like 6 equals to 3 plus 3. Another contribution is Ramanujan's congruences, which are some remarkable congruences for the partition function, and it plays a significant role in the field of mathematics. Highly composite number is also a significant contribution of Ramanujan, which states that if a natural number n is said to be highly composite number if it has more divisors than any smaller natural number.
What do you see?
Sand.
Imagine if we could look so closely, we could see each grain, each particle. You see, there are patterns in everything.
Integrals, infinite series.
I've never seen anything like them. From an Indian clerk, ill-educated in Madras, I would very highly value any advice you give me.
Letter for you. Postmarked England.
Yours truly, S. Ramanujan.
What does the S stand for?
You can ask him yourself.
You intend to invite him here?
Don't forget me.
I could never.
Are you Ramanujan by chance? Oh, don't be intimidated. Great knowledge comes from the humblest of origins.
For the good of everybody, you should attend some lectures.
But I'm here to publish. The letter only contained a small sampling of my discoveries.
This will take a lifetime.
Maybe two.
We need proofs of your work.
But they are right, sir.
I hadn't completed that proof. How do you know?
I just do.
You don't pull a stunt like that in my class.
Now get out!
How did you know that theorem?
It came to me. These steps you want, I do not know how to do.
Where do you think you're going? This is our home.
Don't you know what I've given up to be here? I have nothing. You wanted to know how I get my ideas. God speaks to me.
There are no proofs. We're just supposed to take him at his word?
No, you're to take him at mine. Why do you do it?
Because I have to.
There are no proofs that can determine the outcome in matters of the heart. We are merely explorers of infinity in the pursuit of absolute perfection.
I owe you so much.
No. It's I who owe you.